Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome to another exciting episode of Colney Talk Podcast, your bite-sized breakdown show. I'm your host Alex. First-time listeners, glad to have you here. And to my returning guests, thank you for sticking with me. As always, I talk a bit about the Arsenal match, pick out my top 3 Arsenal players who shined, and one odd player not good enough I get to call out. Well, with the 7-1 advantage, the game was already won from the first leg. Arsenal approached this match with luxury of rotation and the burden of meeting any kind of expectations. Let's be honest here, because this 2-2 draw, it was a comfortable way to manage the game and a chance to see the other players having a chance on the big stage. Although I wish we saw a bit more of a few players, but that's just me wishfully thinking. The opening 45 minutes showcased Arsenal's ability to balance control with the players and the rotation that they had. Arteta's decision to field this rotated side, which included Raheem Sterling, of course, and Ben White, kind of was expected. Although, like I said, I wonder why Neto didn't start for Raya. You know, he could have had a chance to play. Who knows if he will have any chance ever to play again before the season wraps, but this would have been his chance. The standout moment came early in the first half when Zinchenko, who was deployed in an advanced midfield role, curled a sublime left-footed strike. That was amazing. As soon as the goal went in, I said, I wonder why we've not gotten a chance to see Zinchenko play this role much earlier in the season. I mean, the goal was great. Made me wonder that, and really would have been quite impactful in this position. But again, there's so many other factors that would allow him to be in that position. So this was it, and I got to enjoy it from him. PSV, on the other hand, buoyed by their vocal traveling support, they showed admirable spirit. No denying that. I mean, that is a credit to their fan base and how much they wanted to just come and have a great experience, knowing that they had no chance at all to do anything meaningful. Their equalizer from Ivan Perisic exposed a rare lapse in Arsenal's unusual watertight defenses. You see that, and the first thing you think, oh, this is about a rotation, but it really wasn't all about a rotation. But that can be open for debate of all sorts. A number of players for Arsenal have a piece of that blame to go, because the concentration, the fact of how they would play a tight defensive position, or how that play evolved, just didn't make sense. I mean, it felt more reactionary than being proactive and having more anticipation. That's why I think a few of the other players had a number of blame to share for that goal. Ben White, after his injury layoff, was a positive, although his rustiness was evident at times. This slightly defensive instability allowed PSV to find pockets of space, particularly on the right flank. But as we dealt with that, the highlights even continued, because it was Arsenal who regained the lead before halftime when Declan Rice had the chance to command a header from a pinpoint cross from Sterling. That was great. We had a few more chances early in the first half to get more goal-scoring chances, and that was at least more of the excitement in the game. And as I said, there was a low level of expectations with anything crazy happening. So to me, I was watching this game with a little bit of ease. You can call it exhibition, because I'm sure many other players saw it that way. But I thought a little bit of the excitement would be to see some of the other youngsters get on the field and show what they've got. And as the first half wrapped, going back to those good things that really made it worthwhile. Arsenal's ability to control the tempo without overexerting themselves was nice. Secondly, Sterling. Surprisingly, Sterling who provided 2 assists. He was a good spark to produce those goal scoring chances, allowing the team to play more balanced. And that balance again goes back to the luxury of having to make certain decisions. His ability to impact the game was so significant, where Sterling's ability to impact the game was so significant, at least noticeably, that, it was more so about what we have long expected from him, more so than anything. And this should give him more of a chance to grow in confidence and do something much more meaningful, as the season, keeps going. So that was it for the first half. Second half, I saw a bit of a shift in dynamics. PSV showing more of an increased ambition, but you can probably look at it as a way of their youth playing with that drive, that excitement, that hunger to do something. Arsenal became a bit more conservative. This allowed them to gain a foothold in the match, culminating in well-worked equalizer that just didn't make sense. And I guess you can chalk it up to rustiness, the players not really being as sharp as you would expect them to, and that was how we dealt with it. It's obvious the rotation led to some of this disjointed play. I don't expect it to be smooth sailing. It was particularly interesting from the midfield point, where the usual fluidity was somewhat lacking. But you would think Jorginho and Zinchenko would hold it down a bit better. That's the way I expected it, but they let their foot off the gas, and I guess the tempo was a bit shifted or something. Defensively, Gabriel Magalhaes impressed as always. He made interventions to thwart PSV's attempts to build momentum. PSV had to work harder for it, and that's because Big Gabby was not playing around. He made sure that when they came to his area, they had to work for it. His partnership with Kivior, while not as polished as the usual Big Gabby Saliba axis, he held firm under pressure, but not impressive enough for me. That's the way I would say it. It looked like Arsenal shifted to a more counter-attacking stance just as it kept going through my mind, but then it felt like it was allowing PSV more possession, looking to exploit spaces on the break from how we managed it, while not producing additional goals. So, as I said, from an exhibition standpoint, we try to play through and manage the tempo and the kinds of momentum that PSV were trying to build. It effectively helped Arsenal manage the game, to even protect key players from unnecessary exertion. I mean, we only have so many players that we would sub off, and I guess the major key players did get that rest, and it did allow for those crucial players to get that rest. But as I said, I would have liked Raya to get some of that rest as well, and mix it up with Butler to stay up top in terms of attack, because this was his chance to do something. But maybe, just maybe, it would have been a risk having Neto there or having both of them. So if you would say it was probably a tactical decision, I would agree as well. And while we didn't have much to play for in this leg, it was not a reason for us to start worrying when we had to concede more than 2 or 3 goals in the game. So, I'm grateful that this is the way we managed it. Arteta's use of Zinchenko in midfield was particularly intriguing, because we know what he can provide from that position. He has the quality. It gave us a chance to see Zinchenko, in this role in an Arsenal shirt, but it also provided a different dimension to our build-up when it kind of is geared towards attack. And so I think the question answers itself when we're wondering why we don't get to see Zinchenko play this role. If we're really leading with a lot of goals in a situation that allows for him to come in and play, it definitely would be more in this midfield position. His presence in the central areas allowed for quicker transitions and created quick switch ups to keep PSV guessing, and that is quite a good thing to have. It's an advantage that not a lot of players can showcase. They may have the ability to play in midfield, but that quality to, have that confidence to play through and provide more of an attacking influence, it's not quite that easy to have. So, good thing that we were able to get that from Zinchenko. Sterling on the right wing was business as usual, because you would expect a shifty winger like he is to drag defenders away, use his space, cause a threat from there, and at least more so than anything, maintain ball possession so that we can stay forward and at least recycle and get them pinned back. Sterling's direct running and ability was all we needed to show that threat and keep PSV honest on the left. So, a good showing for Sterling. Defensively, as I said, the occasional lapse, it highlighted the importance of backup defensive players that needs more addressing. No disrespect to Kivior, but when we get a chance to see some of these rotational plays and players on the field not keep up or close to the standards that we expect, there's more to address there and at least give us a chance to reevaluate while things are happening in real time. Kivior did play his game, but again, there's more to assess from there. As the game wrapped, 2-2 draw, there wasn't much of a fanfare, surprise. Exhibition is the word for me here. Boring game in the sense of, nothing to play for. It is great. Boring is good for us because we had a chance to already progress to the next stage and have a chance for the players to just play some decent minutes. So all around, it was good for us. Now, let me touch on my top 3 performers in this match. First player, Declan Rice. His performance was just about controlling the game throughout. When he was there, he was everywhere. His goal, a perfectly timed header from Sterling's cross, quite deserving. Rice's position consistently disrupted PSV, forcing them into less dangerous wide areas. There wasn't much of a surprise on what you expect or see from Declan Rice in this game. And you could tell he was not going to finish this game. He had to come off early as one of the key players. He needed that rest. He needed to come in, control, and have an influence in the game, which he did very well. And I really got to enjoy most of that. While he was there, he was good. He made the influence in the right ways and, continues to give us a lot more reasons to be proud of him. Second player, Zinchenko. Zinchenko in the midfield, I think, there is much more of what we can appreciate from him because he has that creativity, and doing that in between PSV's midfield and defensive lines, that's just what we needed, because between him and Jorginho, we needed him to be that instigator to do that as far as attacking goes. His pass completion rates hovering around 90%, ensuring that Arsenal maintained control even when PSV pressed and tried to come at us. He was good. One standout moment from Zinchenko was when he executed a perfectly turned play under pressure, evading two PSV midfielders before releasing the ball to Sterling with a defensive splitting pass. That was a good game from Zini. That's something he does well. He got a chance to do that. I guess it would have been nicer if we had some more goal scoring opportunities, even though we had that threat. So, good game from him. Third and final player, Big Gabby. Given his defensive discipline or defensive rotation, gave him more work to do. He had a lot of cleanups to follow from that. His anticipation was crucial to sniff out PSV's attacks even before they could develop much more into genuine threats. Some of them did, but not enough to get us worried. So that was really good. As I said, he couldn't keep it all, but he kept the rest of the defensive players in check for the most part to clean up their acts and get in the defensive playing style. So, he was another player that I would have liked to get a rest, but again, I guess not all of them can. Either way, he played okay, but more importantly, his influence was bigger, and that's why I picked him as a third player. So that's that. No odd player to pick out. Rotational players, fewer or lesser expectations of the game. There's really not much to, make any fuss about anything from this game. So, it was mostly about enjoying the players playing their game. This 2-2 draw was more about Arsenal showcasing these other rotational players having a chance on the big stage. As we look forward to the quarterfinals, let's just say we have to first believe, nevertheless, is going to be excited. Arsenal and Real Madrid, yeah, that's a game. Arteta has the ability to show tactical flexibility. So let's just see how he handles this challenge, because I'm sure he is excited for it. Who knows? We may have some other players back, but that's just wild guessing. So I'm not really going to try to make other fantasy comments from that. We are in the Champions League quarterfinals. So there's a lot for us to be proud of getting to this point. Arsenal fans have every reason to be optimistic, and that's just how it has to be. And we're going to be that way, being supportive in what's in front of us now. So we look forward to it. Alrighty, that will do it for this episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, if you enjoy this, like, subscribe, and share with your fellow Gunners. Until next time.